Hello, welcome back to Overclock Showcase. It's Driller's turn again, and because we're on the secondaries, that means we are now on the EPC. If you watched the end of the last episode, you will know that we're doing Persistent Plasma, which has been a persistently interesting journey to figuring out how I was going to construct this one, what the builds would be. Obviously, in Overclock Showcase, I should say, I show off two different builds for the Overclock that I think work relatively well, but also as distinct as possible. And I didn't think that was going to be a problem for Persistent Plasma, and it wasn't. Although it might have gone in a direction that you wouldn't expect. And that's going to start with me admitting a great shame. Because, if any of you have seen the balancing Season 5 Overclocked video, which, I mean, many of you have, because it's done quite well, thank you for that, you would know I had a particular view on Combustive goo mix, which is why I'm ashamed to say that it's actually in one of the builds in this video. And this isn't even like a thing of like wanting to finding an excuse to use one of the newer overclocks. I say newer because they're not that new anymore. They've been in the game for 8 months now, but it was still weird for me to accept that this is actually one of the better ways to use Persistent Plasma. In fact, really, one of the better ways to use Burning Nightmare on the EPC. When I think about it, I can't say why with much certainty. I've just found this to be a very powerful combination. And I think it has something to do with the way that Combustive goo mix works. Obviously, it destroys the sludge that you ignite, but Persistent Plasma leaves something behind. Anyway, the point is, this is about Persistent Plasma more so. So Persistent Plasma is, of course, an unstable on the EPC, and it is very highly regarded. I think in most cases it is regarded as the best EPC overclock. I think overall that, in my opinion, really does go to Heavy Hitter. I think Heavy Hitter is better, but these two do represent the best of the EPC. We've got the best charge shot overclock here and the best normal shot overclock here. So we are using the best charge shot overclock. No, it's not heat pipe, get over it. And by that, and in that vein, I'm sure most of you know what Persistent Plasma does, but of course, once the charge shot has made impact, once it's exploded, it leaves a field of damage over time, sort of plasma in the air, right? And this can be affected by a lot of things. For example, Thin Containment Field. The Thin Containment Field does produce a field of plasma the size of your Thin Containment Field explosion if you hit the charge shot with a normal shot. And Burning Nightmare, well, it doesn't actually make the Persistent Plasma do fire damage or anything like that. Or, well, actually, technically it does, but it doesn't make it do heat. It does still work. So the Burning Nightmare will still pass through enemies, but once it's made impact with the ground, then it kind of works. It's magic. And that's why I've had a really fun time with this combination, because you kind of shoot the Burning Nightmare charge shot through enemies into the sludge that you've laid on the ground, and then explodes. And the Persistent Plasma tends to finish off anything that survives the explosion, including Praetorians. So I have found this to be actually a really powerful way of using Combustive goo mix. And I never said it wasn't strong. In fact, I said it was overkill, Combustive goo mix, you know? And it is. It's too much. But I haven't changed my mind. I still think it's a problem how niche you have to build. The fact that you have to use EPC with specific tier 5. There's still some flexibility here. I haven't used it with Persistent Plasma before, so that's actually been an interesting thing to do. But you're still locked into a specific weapon with a specific tier 5 upgrade. And I still disagree with that fundamentally, but it does not mean the overclock is not worth using, because it definitely is. This is a really powerful thing. Obviously, it's insane overkill if you're going below hazard 5. Luckily, we're not. We're playing on the usual hazard 5 with +1 enemy frequency, or more enemies, but it's still just way too much. I still think it needs some adjustments. Anyway, in terms of our actual build, so of course we've got all ammo, as much ammo as we can get, because it's all we really need, is as many charge shots as we can get. There is an argument for a radius, but I don't know if it really affects the Persistent Plasma in this case. I think the Persistent Plasma radius is fixed, except for Thin Containment Field produces a bigger one. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, to be honest. But having more ammo seems to be the most useful way to go. And therefore, charge speed does as well, because obviously we could increase our efficiency, or ammo capacity for charge shots, by taking improved charge efficiency. But that speed is a lot more useful. It's part of my journey of understanding that speed and like damage, there are a lot of things that are better than just going for the ammo route. Of course, we have taken ammo in most cases, like tier 1. Well, we're not going to use normal shots, are we? And charge shot damage, bit nebulous here. We mainly want the fire effect and the persistent plasma afterwards. Can you get diagnosed for a stammer? I'm wondering, because I'm pretty sure I have one. Tier 2, that's simple. I don't really feel the need for the velocity. I just find that the projectile traveling at its current speed is actually really nice. So yeah, that's the basic EPC build. The Sludge pump is also built extremely basically. Once again, with an emphasis on sort of responsiveness over ammo. Also, we take the ammo mod, but we're not taking magazine size and we're not taking efficiency either. Taking charge speed and projectile speed. These are much more useful for the Sludge pump, especially because the Sludge pump is actually more of our ranged weapon. It's actually easier to hit sort of smaller targets at a longer distance with this than it is with the EPC. Obviously, could change that by taking velocity, but I find that the build works well enough anyway. And impact axe just for sort of disrupting, like interrupting enemy attacks or taking out HVTs pretty quickly, because our weapons here are quite massive. They use up a lot of their ammo, and so you really want to use it when there's a lot of enemies. The only time you really want to use your weapons, to be honest. Or rather, in tandem. Always looking for instances where we can use both weapons together. Because where you can't, you end up creating... If you go through a lot of scenarios where you don't need to use them in combination, you only need to use one of the weapons, you create an imbalance of the ammo efficiency. And so one starts to really overtake the other in terms of how much ammo they have left. So we're really searching for opportunities to combo the two. And of course, this is meant to be a EPC showcase, a persistent plasma showcase. I think I have maybe... What's the thing that I struggle to say? Ultramagnetic coils. No, actually, I guess I don't. Ultramagnetic coils. Ultramagnetic coils. Ultramagnetic coils. I think sometimes, like, I think it's the G. It almost sounds like the G is silent when I say ultramagnetic coils. Like I'm saying ultramagnetic. Whatever. Anyway, we're here. Usual tricks. I will mostly be skipping in between combat segments. And that probably includes right now as well, because there's no mule here, which means I can't trigger a swarm. What the fuck? Okay. I mean, yeah, okay, this works actually. It works quite well. So we'll do that, and then we'll probably wait for the Praetorian to walk over. Charge shot. Yeah. 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 Now, yeah, that's not gonna quite do the trick, but it almost did. It almost did. See, if that Praetorian, if we basically had the Praetorian right in front of us and I shot the charge shot like axe just below it, and then shot the EPC charge shot, it probably would have gone down from just those two charge shots, basically. But that was still very close, as you saw. So you can already see how the build kicks in. And where this is really a persistent plasma used for sort of finishing things off, rather than being our main form of AoE, which is what the second build is. So I guess before I actually cut, it's best to give my thoughts on persistent plasma in general. I already established that I, acknowledge it as the most widely appreciated EBC overclock, and that it is definitely the best charge shot overclock, that is for sure. And I do like it, but I don't love it, and I think that's because it's sort of, at its best, it uses thin containment field, and I'm not a fan of thin containment field. I find it very awkward to use. I don't enjoy it. So I've kind of been held back from loving it that much, and preferring something that's just a lot more simple in its conception, and a lot easier to get to its best form, which is heavy hitter. You kind of just take heavy hitter with fire on either a sludge pump or the cryo cannon, or you even take it without fire, which would be thin containment field, by the way, and you just use it against frozen enemies, and it feels pretty good. I just have a lot of a better time with making that feel good than I do with persistent plasma. But this fire version I think is very good, and I do acknowledge that the thin containment field version is very strong. It's really strong actually, and I completely acknowledge that. I just have a hard time using it, so you have to cut me some slack when we get to the next build because it's a thin containment field build. Anyway, not much in sight, although I imagine it's going to change soon, but give a little break. I sense some kind of incoming creatures. Yeah, look at this lot. Actually, just going to use the standard EPC shot at first, and then actually I'm going to lay down some explosions, which will just destroy everything. Keep in mind how I never said Combustive Goo Mix is weak. Really, really not. That guy's dead. Wiki finished off dense groups of enemies so well because it's mainly the guards and also sort of more rarer, I guess, targets like Stingtails that get mixed in with the Horde that give Combustive Goo Mix its validity. Like, why you need this much firepower from a weapon that already one-shots grunts so easily. So this lot, see, these are just grunts, so this is obviously just an EPC job. Gonna go through them. We'll probably go over here and try and get them into yeah, something like that. I think makes a good deal of sense. This version of Persistent Plasma isn't as good at these sort of solo scenarios because it's mainly going to be the projectile passing through and the fire that does the damage rather than the Persistent Plasma. That's really for when we do our combo. Did you see that? That was amazing. The way, like, because of how the Barrage Infectus model works, anything that gets attached to it is basically part of the model, so it just inflated the impact inflation. It just inflated the impact axe, like, up to, like, 5 meters tall. It's like a massive axe. That was incredible. So, I think about the Stingtail. I actually don't know if I can one-shot that. No, it really doesn't get set on fire easily. Which is a big problem. I don't know if you could do it with Overcharger. I guess it's something I'd have to try, but I'm not that interested. Even though I do actually... I would not have minded... In fact, I was secretly hoping to get Overcharger for this video. That was actually the one I wanted the most for some reason. Even though it is... I don't know if it's the worst EPC Overclock. I mean, it probably is. If I was like to be brutally honest with myself, is that going to kill that? It is. Oh no! I'm just gonna be brutally honest. It probably is the worst EPC Overclock, but really, really, whatever. Just gonna slowly kill that Victorian with Sludge. Another, really? So yeah, once again, this is not the most persistent plasma dependent build, but I still think it rounds out as being a nice part. I mean, let's have a look at what the penalties are again, actually. Decreased charge shot damage, so we're really not losing out except where we're not hitting certain breakpoints, so we do kind of rely on hitting Sludge to get the fire to work. I can acknowledge that. But I think with the way this handles, like, massive crowds, I can't deny that Persistent Plasma feels like a good component to this build. Thank you, Sludge. We got a big problem. Where is it? There it is. What the?
Explosives flying.
Okay, that wasn't that strong. that kill it? Maybe. I mean, pretty much one more pump shot will kill it. Yeah. Okay. That wasn't completely inefficient. I mean, bulk detonators are kind of like an ammo economy anomaly in Deep Rock, where it's just like, as long as it doesn't take up literally all of your ammo, I don't think it's a bad sign that you end up using a lot of ammo on a bulk detonator. It's not, you know, it's not weird. They are incredibly tanky and dangerous, so you kind of just have to go all out to deal with them as quickly as possible. Which is a very basic bit of wisdom, I suppose. What the fuck? Really? That was ass. Oh, what? I don't want to do that. Okay. This is the one. Come on, Persistent Plasma, you could do it. Alongside a Sludge pump shot. There we go, perfect. Completely soloed it. Persistent Plasma, all the way. Oh, I'm full Illuminite. Wow. Let's shoot him. Good work, everyone. I'm going to shoot him to show off the EPC. That's not Persistent Plasma, though, is it? Still got max ammo on actual. Okay. Okay. Pretty good. And yeah, I will do this. Because it's going to bring a lot of enemies in. So. Yeah, I hope that the Praetorian stuff especially is making it clear why using Persistent Plasma is like particularly good and not just like heat pipe or energy routing, which you can use. And they'll probably do pretty well, but I think you do lose something by not taking Persistent Plasma. Or you're missing out on something you could otherwise have that is pretty damn good. If I were to do another tier list, let's say, of overclocks, I might have to put Persistent Plasma in the good old A tier, I'd say. That's probably where it belongs to me. Yeah. I know some people definitely put it in like an S tier unequivocally. I think someone did. Someone by the name of Lazy Baby and Waste. I'm not actually sure though. I don't know their list off by heart, believe it or not. It's entirely possible they didn't do that. I don't remember. Even though I watched that video... I didn't watch it twice. That's ridiculous. It is a good video though. It's a good video. He deserved it, let's be honest. An oppressor. Well, that's our weak spot, really, isn't it? Oh, I did a lot of damage to it without even realising. Okay. Why not? And where'd they put that? Over there! Well, I'll go get that set up. You don't need to worry about that. Ooh. You know what? I might just use up all my ammo. There's that bit. Oppressor. Die. All this explosion. Ow! That. Acid spitter. Fuck off. Okay. Alright, let's do this horrible event. It's still, look. Of course, it's still the worst event in the game. It's not like anything's changed. I guess they're lucky that Deep Rock's gameplay is so. Deep Rock's base level gameplay is so good that even a terrible event, well. That's the thing. I do think Deep Rock has some examples of instances where it's not saved by its good gameplay, because I think Deep Rock is a weird balancing act where mechanics of like events and objectives can impact the gameplay quite badly. I think this is one of them. Hopefully, though, through our overwhelming power, we will avoid such complications. Doesn't seem like the explosions from Combustive Goomix damage Taxi, which is a bloody good thing, isn't it? Really. Hold on, let's bring this. Bye. Yeah, that's good enough. Ah!
The drone can't hack as long as there's bugs beating it up. Do something.
Yeah, shush. I'm on it. Kind of. Oh, that's death. That's death again. Okay. Okay. And here you are now seeing the problem with a data deposit event, because it just doesn't stop spawning enemies. Even when it objectively should, where other events do. Ridiculous. Ah!
Drone resuming hack. The hacking drone is under attack. Keep it safe so it can work.
Well, we did it. And I don't think that we suffered from having persistent plasma. I think we probably benefited, even if it's only a small amount. I am finding, though, I don't have any much to say that's really specific to persistent plasma. It's kind of just working out. But it is definitely helping with finishing off Praetorians and sort of clearing up things like weaker grunts or even like swarmers that happen to wander into where our goo once was. That's kind of the concept here. It's like where the goo once was. We've got 3 satchel charges. This is why I don't like satchel charges. There's just too many. There's just too many of them. Ridiculous. I don't want this many. I guess I'll put it there. Because I do need a resupply. Is that this entire one used up? It is. Luckily. Got lots of nitro. I did click on the uplink. Alright.
Supplies are coming. Initiate.
Again!
Not to leave the triangulation zone, or we will lose the connection. We only got one.
What the fuck? Oh, that's also interesting behaviour. Which I mean bullshit.
Return to the triangulation zone. We're losing the connection.
Well, at least we're killing it.
Please get back into the triangulation zone.
Bro, do not go on at me right now. Are you seeing what I have to do? So I need to go around and stop the thing from actually stopping and losing the mission. Oh, it's dead. Whew! Goodness me. What a day. Alright, it's going really badly. I mean, can you blame me? Look at the terrain, and I've already had to deal with bulk detonator during this. I think you can all cut me some slack. Although in practice, it kind of was these scenarios that the build excelled at, so I'm a little bit disappointed. There's no way I'm going to be able to safely take a resupply. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay. Well, that can happen. That can happen. I still think what works about this was evident. We were really powerful at clearing massive hordes of enemies, and even when it came to things like bulk detonators and oppressors, you can kind of just dump ammo into them, and it won't take ages. They don't feel like sponges, this build. Nothing really does. And I think that's a testament to both overclocks that we're using, actually. Yes, Combustive Green Mix, and obviously Persistent Plasma. I think they're doing a lot of work to make it so that enemies just kind of go down in a timely manner. And even if they don't, they still go down. I think that's the benefits of Persistent Plasma being at play here. So I don't feel too bad about that. It's happened before. We move on. Not to that. I was thinking about it, but then I realised I'm using the Cryo Cannon. This next one. So I don't really want to go to the rad zone again. It's samey. Oh. Yeah, actually, I think that could probably work. So let's talk about what is a little bit more of a actual Persistent Plasma reliant build, because it's going to be our main source of AoE. This guy, look at that. So for Fin Containment Field, it's built almost exactly the same, except obviously Fin Containment Field, so we have it. But also in Tier 2, we take Projectile Speed. This makes it infinitely easier to, because Projectile Speed is purely for normal shots. That makes it infinitely easier to hit the Fin Containment Field, to hit the charge shot with a normal shot, which is how you trigger Fin Containment Field. Otherwise, it's almost impossible. And it's definitely impossible to do it reliably in useful circumstances. This makes it so much easier to actually get use out of Fin Containment Field. It is great. You really do need it. And obviously, we have the very direct benefit of Fin Containment Field being this powerful explosion that also produces a larger and maybe more powerful Persistent Plasma Field. I don't know if it's stronger, but it definitely is a lot bigger. There's a very direct benefit there. And in Tier 1, so this is going to be used for sort of chunk damage and sort of dense horde of enemies as well. And so are primary, but they're kind of just used for different configurations. This is just Ice Storm built to be Ice Storm. You have a bit of freezing power, a bit of ammo, but you have to take the damage in Tier 4, otherwise it's going to be bad. You have a really powerful, quick thing that kills things quickly, and can take out single targets with a lot of ease as well. So they're both really good at hordes, and they're both really good at single target, but especially together. It's kind of weird. They almost, it's not like they don't really combo, but they also synergize very well. It's kind of hard to explain. I guess we kind of just use both weapons for kind of any kind of enemy, but it's really the scenario. So you're not going to want to use EPC if they're sort of spread out around you, for example, and that's where you use the cryo cannon. If you've got like a big enemy, it's weird. They kind of do the same thing, but in very different ways. And that's why they synergize, because it means that you're really not limited by circumstances. You can be caught in pretty much any kind of environment with any kind of configuration of enemies around you, and you'll be able to get out of it because they do a lot of the same things, but they have very different weaknesses, I should say. So it's hard to use EPC when you're in a tight area, right? It's hard to use a charge shot and then hit that charge shot with a normal shot, but the cryo cannon thrives in like claustrophobic environments. So they will see both be very useful. I think we're probably going to go straight in for a fin containment field against this Orion. We're going to naturally miss and then get attacked by a Stalker. There we go. Now it should die. Okay, yeah, I mean, and very often against something like Praetorian, we'll probably end up using both weapons anyway. I'm thinking as well, for that Vartok, I might use just basic charge shots. That might be the way to go with that. You want to actually get the Jaders out, mate? Stalker. Bastard. God, no. No, I don't think so. I don't think I can do that. Or Spectre. I'm not in the mood. Obviously, there's a good chance it's going to get triggered by something. So we might have to face it whether I want to or not. Anyway, the best thing about this, actually, is that the cost of using a fin containment field shot is just a charge shot +1. So it's quite easy to justify no matter what, and that means against that horde of grunts, while the normal charge shot without being detonated might have been fine, we knew we were going to get all of them by making it a fin containment field explosion. You know, it's just insurance basically for just one more ammo, and I think that's a completely fair thing to do. The only thing I don't like about how fin containment field works is the fact that you kind of need to shoot it in kind of a different place, you know? You can't really shoot it at enemies because it would just hit them and you won't be able to trigger fin containment field, you know? You do kind of need to shoot it over them, and that kind of means that the actual effective radius is not as much as you might think, because the actual widest part of the explosion is happening above the enemies, kind of. So I do actually find that a little bit annoying, and it's a little bit of the reason why I find it hard to understand why people hold fin containment field in such high regard. I kind of see it as more for the damage than the radius, personally, although I think that is actually kind of the case for why it's so popular, but I don't know, there are aspects of it that I don't understand and aspects of it that I do. Yeah, that's a barrage infector. obviously, while our Cryo Cannon isn't necessarily built for just freezing, having frozen groups of enemies and then putting persistent plasma on top of them works pretty well. To make sure they die, you know?
Hang in there. The wave is almost dealt with. Dispatch whatever's left.
Oh, crap. Frozzy's activated. There's another thing with me and Fiend Containment Field. I kind of just spastically trigger it as soon as I can sometimes, because I'm just... my instincts tell me to do it. It's just like, no, you shot a charge shot, shoot the charge shot immediately. Basically. Luckily, I probably didn't know this, but obviously robots have a very potent weakness to fire, given that thermal fire kills them instantly. But they do have a weakness to ice damage, meaning that something like Ice Storm is actually going to do very well against them, because it's entirely like cold element based, but it is actually high DPS as well. So you can kill patrol bots very quickly with Ice Storm, and they can get frozen. Obviously, they don't like freeze and drop to the ground or anything, but they can get frozen and therefore take more damage from our Ice Storm. Anyway, I clearly need to be a bit more careful. I haven't practiced for this as much as I would have liked to, and I think... well, Buzzcoc's going after it now. I think if we don't antagonize it, it wouldn't actually spawn any more reinforcements. But Buzzcoc's got... I guess he's got... Bloodlust. He's cruising for a bruising. But yeah, I think this version of Persistent Plasma has already shown how it is more of a Persistent Plasma thing. It's like we're getting a lot of use out of it killing things over time. Taking out large groups of enemies with direct area damage from the EPC itself, but then also finishing them off with the persistent damage over time from the EPC itself. Very self-sufficient. Okay, I guess we can kill the Prospector very quickly. Actually, I will try and do a Fiend Containment Field against a patrol bot. Okay, I didn't hit it. I hit it directly, which is not what I wanted. Okay, that's good. Friendly patrol bot. Don't mind that. I suppose I should also try hitting the Prospector with a direct... well, with a Fiend Containment Field shot. God, I bet we can't wait for the Fiend Containment Field Tier 5 upgrade video in 3 years. And that is going to happen, by the way. That is... once again, the plan is, once I'm done with the Overclock showcases, which will go on hold, by the way, again, when Roll comes out. But the plan is to do Tier 5 upgrade videos. Which is ridiculous, I know, but I really want to do it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, because the reason why I want to do something like that is because by focusing on those upgrades instead of overclocks, it means that I can use whatever overclocks I want, basically. I'm going to appreciate. Alright. I probably should really cut a little bit here, but that Prospector is kind of keeping me on edge quite a bit. I'm not really sure. Yeah, let's take it out. Come on, guys. Oh, pardon me. Sorry. I'm unprofessional. Okay, obviously I need a resupply. I'm going to go do some mission stuff, although I suspect the swarm is going to show up any second now. But either way, I wasn't entirely wrong, although I have actually managed to make a bit of progress. I called in the other 2 pump jacks. Yeah, I do like on-site refiring, but I think it has a consistent issue of not having very nice places to fight in. I think it's a mechanically very sound mission, objective-wise. I think unlike something like escort duty or even salvage job, I think it's like, as far as like how the objectives are handled, I think it's actually pretty much perfect. But on other fronts, it's got some issues. Why I definitely don't put it in S tier and then done a mission tier this. Why didn't you bunker? I'm not bunkering, fuckhead. Never bunker. Much like you never goon, never bunker. Look at that. Resistant plasma, baby! Let's go! Okay, this does feel pretty good, but that's because we're getting very uncomplicated enemy configurations. Like, no destructive enemies whatsoever. So it's not surprising that it feels good. Well, I think we saw some very clear distant plasma benefits there. Just taking out groups of grunts and then killing some more when they come along, especially tiny enemies. Like I said, it's really good for that kind of thing. Because obviously it would kill any amount of tiny enemies in its radius on impact, then it can go on to kill many more after the fact. And I don't think it's that hard to have a well-placed shot when it comes to tiny enemies. They kind of just naturally go towards, well, they go towards you. So it's very easy to lead them into danger that's going to get them killed immediately. They're weak.
Damn flares could need an upgrade. Pop the swarmer in.
Nicely done, team. You secured yourself
There we go.
a nice bonus.
That part's done. Right, now I'm going to build some pipelines. I'm sure you'd love to see that, but unfortunately, they're coming.
Flares. Charging.
Okay. I think there was a Praetorian. There he is. So I'm just going to cryo this. Easy! Right, it's time to put the final nail in the coffin, I think. I'm not sure if I got everything from these. I don't! Oh my god! I genuinely didn't know. I just wasn't sure. Just... Man, what a horde. But that might be it, that might not. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure if there's more than that as well. I think that might be the last armor paint job I need to get from Season 5. Goodness me. You'd think that I would have them all by this point, to be honest. But I'm not infallible, you know, as much as it might seem like I am.
Incoming. Smoke him if you got him.
Ah! Pardon. Jesus Christ, pot, sorry. Quite rude, really. There's two stalkers. What the fuck? Bro did not want to burrow away. Cretinous fellow. You may have aspired my consistent difficulty at triggering the containment field against Praetorians. Would you like that gas cloud ice detonation? I did. I've really got to do... You know what? I could have done industrial sabotage with this build, couldn't I? Actually, nothing about it is actually... It's actually a very good driller build for that. I'm tempted to do that. And I might actually... Well, no, I probably won't. I wouldn't record it in full, certainly. But maybe we could do a caretaker, potentially. Anyway, I've got to get that other pipeline built. War engineering at its finest.
It's overheated. Not ready. Flares recharging. Stop dead.
Really?
Never felt that. What's that smell? All right.
We're ready to
Again.
begin extracting the liquid morkite.
Go, let's go, let's go.
And start up the pump sequence.
Yeah, I probably should have actually done that industrial sabotage. They really need to do that assignment, that Gunner one. But it's just never getting done.
Are working at full capacity. Be warned, the noise will draw in the locals, so stay on your toes and do what you can to protect and maintain the equipment.
The equipment. Protect and maintain the equipment.
Pulling in the locals.
All the noise is pulling in the local. Sorry, I can't do that.
Pipelines.
Can't do that. I do the dwarves much better than that. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Fuck! Shit!
Pump sequence at 25%.
Can we turn particles down in any way? No. Still, we still count on the old console. On the PC, you can. I don't know why that's the thing. I don't know why it's like, oh, on console, less options, idiot. Fuck you.
Okay, we got a problem with the pipelines.
Augustus Gloop, Augustus Gloop.
Running.
Down it go. Maybe I can do a 360.
This pipeline is fixed, but you need to clear all malfunctions in order for the refinery to run.
I don't know what you thought was going to happen. Oh,
Here I come.
ah. Oh. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, system plasma, it just enhances anything that you do with a charge shot, basically. That's the best way to see it. It's not entirely free, it reduces your charge damage by a little bit, but when it comes to fire, obviously in our case, as long as we were setting the sludge on fire, it was fine, and we were. In this case, I think thin containment field has a fixed damage anyway, like its damage is fixed regardless, so it doesn't really matter. I think. I'm not completely confident about that. Whoa!
Thanks, boss.
Pump sequence at 75%. The cargo rocket is almost full. The pipelines are leaking. Get on it. Get them fixed.
Come on, man. There we go. Finally got it. The axe survived.
Pipeline functional again. However, we still have malfunctions in
Yeah. What the fuck? Worth it. I think in this kind of build, I mean, a lot of the builds, they really should just take the just the 2 mega satchels, you know, because I just don't use them enough to justify having 3. So I might take the ones that do the most damage.
all pipelines fixed and operational again.
Or the other one, or take 4, because then you have, or like, basically fat boys.
Incoming wave.
Fuck you, man.
You're a stain on the floor.
Okay, now we get to leave. Leave! Fucking leave! Oh, that's my Hassan impression. Auto-tuned Hassan. Damn.
Well done. Cargo rocket is returning to orbit. We're sending in the drop pod to get
Only one resupply, baby.
Boy,
Baby. Delicious. God, I want to play Skyrim.
in T-minus 3 minutes.
got no flares.
Woo!
Can't carry anymore.
There we go. God, I'm really bad with it. There are definitely thin containment field connoisseurs who are just in despair. Watch. Really? Oh, wow.
Explosive flies.
Hey, let's go. Alright, so, Persistent Plasma. It is a great overclock. Strongly recommend, obviously, you can call the first mission of this video a bit of an anomaly. I did in fact die. That happens sometimes. We move on. I move on. Maybe you don't. But it's great. It's at least the second best overclock on the EPC. It's the best thing on the EPC has for charge shots. It just enhances anything you're going to do with charge shots. It's very good at supplementary damage, at sort of insurance, area denial. It gets some. You do get the most benefit out of stacking, so putting down multiple, not necessarily in the same place, rather just for more area coverage. But I think that's completely fine. I think it justifies that. It's really strong. It's really fun. It's a great overclock. So, and obviously the builds will, as always, be in the description. So if you're a fan of any of these, hopefully more so this one. I still think I was justified with Combustive gimmicks. The mission kind of just went south, but I do still think this is probably the better build out of the 2 that I showed. I think this is really great stuff. I strongly recommend it. So of course you can find those builds. Obviously you can just pause and look at them, but they will also be in the description below. So, oh my. No, I know I'd rather do this. Do it. Not on camera. Anyway, so yeah. As always, if you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this and you want to stay on top of everything to do with Deep Rock and Road Core, then also click the bell. And now we come to the point in the video where I find out what next week's Overclock showcase is going to be. Of course, it's Scout's turn, which means we are on the Dukovs, which are weapons that we've kind of given a bit of a bad rap. I think we kind of overrated them earlier on, and then we started kind of to turn that around. I think they're fine. They're probably the worst Scout secondary. They only have 5 overclocks as well, which is a dismal selection. But I think they're all okay. I don't have much of a preference here, but I'm also not entirely indifferent. I am kind of interested in what I end up doing with any given one of these. So, if you don't know how this works, we use the Wheel of Fortune. We number the overclocks from left to right, top to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we turn our attention to the wheel. Should be coming onto screen right about now. Oh dear, it's a little bit good. Is that better? No, not really. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. So yeah, let's spin the wheel, find out what next week's overclock's going to be. Like I said, no real preference. Okay, so number one in this case is, when we turn our attention back to the game, is embedded detonators. So we got the strongest overclock on the Zukovs, but the one that I know the least how to make 2 distinct builds out of. It's very one note, but I think I've got ideas. Yeah, next week, embedded detonators. I'll see you then. Thanks for what? Well, hold on, that's not how we do it. What's a very persistent plasma-y drink? Black Peach Blonde, I think.
Black rates
Hold on.
blonde. That reminds me of my first love.
Speaking of Black Peach, I want to play Skyrim. I won't be. Not allowed to yet.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, that's not really Black Peach Blonde, is it? Although he's not producing his own music. See you next time.